Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, December 18th. It's been a good Sunday in sport. It's been a good weekend in sports, and I'm fired up. Even though Landon left it out, we are going to talk soccer. We are going to have some World Cup talk, so don't worry about that. It'll be included. Ignore this guy.
I'll allow it this time.
You have to. I mean, you absolutely have
I'll
to.
allow it this time. That was electric.
Absolutely, and I mean, not just the game. The Did you see the videos of Buenos Aires? Buenos Aires, however you say it? Argentina.
No.
Oh God, dude, the streets. If you think Knoxville would be wild, Argentina, different wild. Different wild. It's awesome. We are going to talk some basketball, of course. If you were able to stay up for it last night, it did make me freak out. I guess I got enough sleep. I woke up at 8 a.m. this morning, and I thought, I guess I just slept hard, and I was sure I slept through the World Cup final, and I was so upset. Glad I didn't sleep through that. That would have sucked.
Yeah.
That would have been brutal. Talking some recruiting news, as well as some football practice, bowl stuff, and bowl season. I mean, there's been some good bowl games too. The Bahamas, speaking of countries south of here, just an awesome bowl game.
Yeah, and Florida lost, so good on them.
And did you see that GIF they tweeted out when they kicked their field goal to not get blanked?
Yeah. That
That was creepy.
Good on them. Way to avoid the shutout.
Yeah, don't get blanked.
Props.
Definitely don't get blanked. And then some segments. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll get to those throughout the show. Stick with us. Before we do get into the meat of the show, I do want to mention our good friends at Underdog Collectible. If you missed the show Thursday night, we were actually live at Underdog Collectible, University Commons. Great shop. We mentioned it then. Over 200 items for all the major sports. I said on Thursday they even had some World Cup stuff in there. Good. They had some Pokemon trading cards in there, and then some other collectibles. That's a good gift to give to somebody that has any kind of passion for sports. Obviously, the autograph stuff's big, but playing cards are just fantastic gift to give, especially if you have a young kid that's into sports. It's kind of hard sometimes to get them stuff, especially like jerseys that they're going to grow out of in a year. Cards, collect autographs, like those are the things to get the young sports kids.
Yeah, like me, like I get to put all that stuff in a man cave when you actually get a house. Like that's something that I always want to do. I always wanted to put that stuff on the wall and stuff like that. So yeah, just tons of stuff. One-stop shop for everybody. So go check them out in University Commons. And if you got to listen to the episode, I know the mics were kind of weird.
Yeah, which sucks because they were great. It was obviously the streaming. I mean, yeah, it's obviously the internet there because we had them good on our end, which sucks.
Yeah. But you got to hear everything, and especially the podcast on Apple, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. It was a little bit more clear than the live show. So if you got to listen to that, awesome interview with Chase Dolander and Christian Moore, and kind of their time at Tennessee so far, and what's been the motivation, and I also just got to cut up with them a little bit, so that was awesome to do. And it was like the first time me and Caleb have done like a show together, like in person, since like pre-COVID, so it was strange.
Yeah, it was fun, ton of fun. We hope to do more of that. And shout out to Underdog Collectible too for getting some heavy hitters helping us out there. And if you missed the Christian Moore Chase Dolander signing, would have been like I mentioned, those great gifts for kids. A lot of kids had their day made. There's going to be some good stuff coming up next year and in the future there at Underdog Collectible. Like autograph sessions. Landon mentioned if you paid $17 to get Chase Dollander's autograph in 6 months' time, it's going to double in value. So, that's definitely a good time to, if you're looking for that kind of thing, even good time to come down there and check that shop out. Great shop, good people over there at Underdog Collectible. We love them. A couple things I've got my eye on in that shop too. That I'm probably not Christmas gifts because I've already done that, but good birthday gifts and other gifts throughout the year next year. So shout out again to Underdog Collectible. Make sure you follow them on Twitter and Instagram too. You can find them throughout our page or Underdog Collectible. Let's talk Tucson loss, Tucson loss, or Tucson, I think is how Wes Rucker spelled it. Poor guy. Man, it just sucks because I know Tennessee didn't play a great game, especially offensively in the second half, but this team's so good. Their defense is very good. And I know it gets lost when last night, man, Urosh just played big-bodied, physical. He didn't hesitate. I mean, you saw it on the offensive end a couple times when he went up and dunked. And so for it to end that way, and I'm not – the officiating was not good. But the fact of the matter is Tennessee missed a lot of chances, to win that game, especially when you look at the shooting percentage in the second half. But man, it's a road game in December. I hope Tennessee can just move past it like they did Colorado, because this team, it's hard to find too much to complain about in that loss other than you've got to shoot better, which is kind of frustrating because I feel it feels like the main point all year so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the offense, late in that game just didn't make enough plays. And, I keep going back. I know Vescovi is, a real huge piece in this basketball team, but his shooting is killing us.
And it's not so much the percentage, because we talked about it with a guy like him. Shooters got to shoot. But the problem is if you go down and break down all those shots, not all of them are good, well-taken shots, which is frustrating. Yeah. You shouldn't, if you're cold, you shouldn't just be shooting the first thing you get early in the play clock. You shouldn't just be catching and shooting anytime you feel like you have space. You're selective when you're down. And the good shots, you take. But you got to find other ways to create chances. And I'm not telling Santiago Vescovi not to pass up a good opportunity. Is don't settle on the just okay opportunity, because you can make them, sure, but you're just not right now.
Yeah, I think he's shooting below 28%, which is definitely not ideal, given, the way he shot last season. But the 1 for 7, and he was 2 for 12 from the floor. So, I mean, he couldn't hit anything last night. And they just made it difficult. I hope this isn't the case, but I know how much he runs in a game. Is he too tired?
Well, I can't remember what game. It might have been the Colorado game. It was maybe 8 minutes in, and I thought he looked exhausted, dead. Not like, oh, he's been playing. He looked like he had played 3 straight games, just dead. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, as much as he runs around, and then, how far he's behind the 3-point line shooting some of those threes, I just question it a little bit.
Yeah, the 4-point line has not been good for him. Maybe we can take the 4-point line off for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not loving that. Tyree Key is another one who, in that preseason, he has a great game in that first game. Gonzaga, he was huge in that one. And apparently he was the key factor in us beating Michigan State in, that close scrimmage. But so far this season, like he's been, I don't want to say underwhelming, but it's like he's not been able to find a shot.
He's not been shooting well. I mean, that's one of he plays good defense, but he's not a guy that just gets to the hole, puts the ball on the ground, shoulder down. That's not his game.
But he showed it against Gonzaga where he can like get in the paint and body a smaller guard. But I wonder if it's a thing where, hey, they're going to put a bigger guard on him where he's not able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely the aspect where he can play down low. I think it's getting the ball out wide and beating the guy where it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
that's not
beating
going to be his
anybody
game.
off the dribble.
Yeah. Whereas, like you said, I mean, he did it last night. One time, he did a great job daring, I think it was Vescovi's guard to come down and double team him so he could kick it out. And instead, just plays down low with his man and turns around. Beautiful jumper. So yeah, he can definitely do that too. I'm not saying 3 points is only part of the game, but he's definitely not a beat you out, like you said, beat you off the dribble guy. Yeah. So and I mean, really, nobody was last night, unfortunately, which killed you there. Which we know Arizona is long. We know, it's tough. They're tall inside. Their guards are lengthy. It's tough to do, and they gave Tennessee trouble with trying to penetrate. Now, what stinks is you saw Tennessee with flashes of able to get the ball inside, back out, but it wasn't off the dribble most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just kind of frustrating last night. Just when you look at the stat sheet, it's like, okay, these teams were even. The only outlier is the fouls, and I think, and it says a lot. I think because Rick Barnes isn't super critical about officials in his post game press conferences. He's usually like, yeah, they might have missed that one, but we should have done this, this, and this. But he was kind of open last night of how frustrated he was. Like, I think he mentioned, like, we went inside just as much as they did. And for me, that says a lot because you're saying Tennessee didn't play good enough defense and we're getting fouls called. But this is one of the best defenses in the country, so that doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand, the early in the first half, it was the charges for me. It was just like, just because the defender falls down doesn't mean it's a charge.
Yeah, there was one charge specifically where I don't know if they were saying, I think it was on Tyreek Key. I don't know if they were saying he was out of control, but the defender was still, I think both feet were in the air where he was sliding. I mean, still moving that much, and it's very frustrating that it feels like Tennessee can't get one of those. I thought both of Vescovi's fouls were really, really soft, handsy stuff away from the hole that you let play most of the game, you let play late in the game, which I'm okay with. But the call that because they've called so many fouls, it ends up in free throw shots. It's very frustrating. And I mean, I tweeted it the moment I knew it was going to be a long night. And I don't mean in the sense of I knew they were going to screw Tennessee. I mean long night, and literally they were going to be on their whistle all game, is when they said at the beginning of the game, these refs are a really good crew. I was like, if you think the refs are good, it means they're on their whistle too much. If you don't know who they are coming in, it's either a good sign or a really bad sign. If you know who they are coming in, it's a terrible sign. You don't want that crap. So I knew there were going to be a lot of foul calls in that game. And unfortunately, it was in Tucson, and they went against you. It's just the way it goes. In college basketball, those refs hear the crowd, man, because it is in favor of the home team.
Yeah, and it sucks because it was such a good basketball game that was, felt like it was kind of hampered by the whistle.
Credit to the teams too in terms of physicality, because I mean that could have, with the way Arizona was playing, with the way Tennessee played on both ends of the floor too, those fouls could easily turn and start going against you. They, like you said, the officials took every chance they could to slow the game down and try to get it to where it was a less physical game, and neither team backed down.
Yeah, and with the loss of Josiah Jordan-James right now, and that just seems like it's going to be an issue this season. Pushing the panic button, it just doesn't seem good. The fact that we're not getting any kind of heads up and it's just a game-to-game thing, it just means I just think you're not going to be able to count on him all season.
I won't say that yet just because we're not in SEC play. I think it's SEC play. If he's out for multiple games at a time, I think that's a panic. I hope right now I think it could all be very much precautionary, because in the grand scheme of things, if you do well in SEC play, like you should be expected to, this Arizona game, a 5-point loss doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
I mean, a win obviously looks a lot better on the resume. It's going to be a quad 1, quad 2 win. Probably quad 2 because whoever for the winner. But yeah, it's not the end of the world with this loss.
Yeah, I just think with the loss of Josiah, you're already limited with your depth in the front court, and then you get hit with foul trouble. Tennessee just doesn't have the depth in the front court to really be able to handle that. Toby Awaka played 7 minutes. He had 4 fouls in 7 minutes, and some of those are fouls, but again, like it's.
Well, he went in there though to kind of earn him. He went in there to go play physical
Right.
on Ballo, and that's the one thing I would have liked to see. You wouldn't have seen Josiah on Ballo often, unless you were switching on the defensive end. But I would have loved to see him playing help defense, just because he is very physical. He is long and can create trouble, and you definitely missed him down low last night because of it's a very different game defensively. And Tennessee played really well defensively. Don't mishear me. But it would have been nice to, like you said, with all the guys in foul trouble, have him in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just unfortunate because Tennessee was still in the game, even with the, huge, foul disadvantage. I think it was we had 24 personal fouls. They had 15. Still only lost by 5. And, what do we shoot? 5 for 24 from 3. If was Vescovi and we were 8 for 27.
14.
Yeah, 3 for 14. You shoot a little better. Things are totally different. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Tennessee comes home with a loss. It, like you mentioned, it is a good loss. You went into Tucson, and I actually thought I thought it could have been worse.
That's a weird part of that game, and I think just because it was so fast and physical that it could have legitimately gone either way for either team. I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee had its lead, a nice lead, and on a nice run until Urosh gets that technical foul. Arizona could have ran away with it if not for that technical foul late.
And that technical foul, that's weak.
Which one?
The one where he has that like tough 2 and he kind of says a little something. Again, it's a top 10 matchup.
It's weak, but I'm in the camp slightly with Barnes of like, dude, you were going to get teed up at some point.
Yeah.
That's the frustrating part.
It's a fine line. Like you can't.
Well, I
don't have a problem with it if it's not called, but since it's called, you obviously have a problem with it.
Well, yeah, I just mean you could probably pick like 2 moments in each game, Arizona included, 2 other moments where you could see Urosh running a technical. So it's just like you're going to get it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. You've got to come in there. And it's like, if you watch the World Cup today, you saw Emilio Martinez throw the ball away before the last PK. It's gamesmanship. You're trying to get in people's head. It's part of it. But you've also got to find your line. And the problem is Urosh didn't really come off that line after he got technical last night. There were some moments that you're like, dude, just walk away from that one. you got your word in today. Because I watched that and I couldn't believe it got whistled that fast.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
Arizona did kind of the same thing, and nothing was whistled. So it was, I don't know. That's why I say it was weak, because like if you're going to call that, you got to call the next one.
And that, it's a dumb call because it's the same thing as Arizona's technical. You have him taking off down the baseline, and after a basket, I don't know how far he went. The camera didn't get it, but I'm thinking he couldn't have gone that far. Like, we're really teeing guys up for that now.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. It was a dumb one, but it's also like, why do you do it?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for Urosh. You don't have to get in his face. You can just tell him as you go by.
Yeah. Yeah, what a game for Zakai Ziegler.
If you don't have Zakai Ziegler, speaking of how it could get ugly.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He didn't deserve to lose that one. I know there was kind of some extracurricular activities after the game. I don't really have a problem with that. Those 2 teams were battling the entire time, and we did the same thing last year.
Well, I know. It's one of those things. It's like, I'm mad about it because I'm a Tennessee fan,
right?
Like, I'm like,
I'm sorry.
Sure. Sorry for everybody listening. I didn't get muted in time for
that. But Kerr, he was a big part in that team last year.
Yeah.
So he experienced, Thompson and losing that game to pretty much John Fulkerson. So, I mean, yeah, it meant a little something for him to win that game. So, him waving to us, I mean, yeah, I hate it because I'm a Tennessee fan, but also, like, we did the same thing last
And
year.
then Ballo flipping us off as he exits the court. It's almost just poetic in that it'll never be said about another team. It's not just teams that play Tennessee. If that had happened against Arizona and USC, not a word, crickets. But the best part about that, too, is it ended up on ESPN. It wasn't like a stray camera caught him.
It
wasn't a Jermaine Burton situation.
Yeah,
Clear
off as
visual.
you're walking off the court. That's real big of you.
His fingers look so weird. I couldn't decide if he was doing finger guns or it took me a minute. I was like, was he flipping them off?
But yeah, just going back to Uros, like again, you have to be a little conscious of again where Tennessee is at in their front court depth wise. Like we can't afford to lose you.
Yeah, and then I mean Adu, which he didn't get a ton of minutes last night, but he did not take the advantage of those. So I mean, it was Uros and Kumwa, and I mean, credit to Kumwa. He's played good. He's played physical last night, man. I mean, that's all you can ask.
Yeah, I did make a note about that. I've kind of been his biggest, critic so far, and I ate my words last night. He played well. I even said on Thursday, our big shy away when we played, really good post players, and he played really well last night.
Well, and the frustrating thing up to last night, and I hope he continues, is it's not his ability to score. He scored 12, 16 points a game and still just not been very physical down low. He battled all night, and some of the guys just out physicaled him at times, but very physical down low, and that's all you can ask. And I mean, did only get 4 rebounds, but again, I think you can attribute more rebounds to him.
Yeah, and this team's always been a big like assist team, and with the way we're shooting, I mean, Vescovi's killing our assists.
Yeah,
with the way he's shooting. I mean,
what 8 more if he just made?
I don't know if he's just trying to pad his stats to have the most assists, but he's killing everybody else by not hitting some threes. Man, what a job by Zakai last night. It sucks you didn't come away with the win after that performance, but 21 points, 6 rebounds, an assist, a steal. I mean, he was tied with Uros for the leading rebounder on the team last night.
Good stat follow-up. We've been talking about that. Good call back there.
Yeah,
and it is crazy, too, just speaking offensively and talking about our guards and Vescovi and Ziegler. I mean, only 12 turnovers as a team in a game that I thought could result in more. I mean, you did Arizona had 15, for example. And so credit to them for taking care of the ball.
It's just weird to lose a game when you didn't really play that bad.
Yeah, it is. I feel like when Tennessee basketball – and not to say that they've only lost to teams when they played like bad. That's the only reason they lost. It just seems like it just seems like a lot of the big losses, even when Tennessee's played good teams that could beat them on a good night, like last night. It seems like Tennessee's just also played bad.
Yeah.
So this is definitely out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and you probably don't lose to Colorado if you don't play bad, but
yeah, that's a different animal than Arizona. Yes. yeah, that's a different animal. Literally,
that's kind of been the common thing.
I mean,
like when you lose a basketball game, it's usually Tennessee is their offense is non-existent. I thought offensively, you didn't make enough plays to win you the ball game, but it also didn't kill you. I thought the defense traveled again. I think well under Arizona's average for the season. So I think that's big. It's going to show up every game. It just unfortunate that you couldn't come away with a win in Tucson, but you get Austin Peay this week, and then the next week you start SEC play with Ole Miss. So
SEC play, man, this is big. It looks like the SEC is going to be a tougher conference, which is crazy because it's been so good. And I don't know if there's a clear cut in a way better team right now. I don't think you can.
I think there's that group where it's like Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, and probably Auburn.
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting that see who breaks away. It'll be a fun SEC slate for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited
for sure.
Let's
talk a little football. Let's talk a little football.
Let's do it.
Before we get into football too, I do want to give a shout out to our good friends at Ham and Goodies real quick, Landon. make sure you guys check them out for the holidays. They may be able to get you in for your holiday party right now. If not, good thing is you can get them after the holiday. They're still around. They got 3 locations. I need to write this down. I always mess this up. North Shore, Cedar Bluff, and then Gay Street. So make sure you go check out one of their locations. I'm a lemon cookie guy. Landon's about the strawberry. Get both. Tell us which is better, and then we'll decide if we like you or hate you. So do that. Tweet it at us. Let us know which one's best. Make sure you guys go check out my Ham and Goodies. Shout out to them for taking care of us during football season, and always, Ham and Goodies is so good. So good.
It's the best.
All right, football recruiting news. Or I guess start a bowl practice. Sorry.
Start a bowl practice. I think it is exciting. Starting these 15 practices before the bowl game here in a couple weeks. And I think it's big for Joe Milton. He gets kind of a full month to be the guy. Like you're QB1, you're first in line, you're getting all the first team reps. Hey, this is your team now. I think Vanderbilt was just like, hey, let's get in and get out and see what happens. But, I think this is a tryout. Kind of like maybe Vanderbilt was to a certain extent, but this is a big game for Joe Milton to show exactly what he can do. But then this offense, I think it's only going to build his confidence if he plays well, and then everybody around him. That was so big about Hendon Hooker is he made everybody else around him better. And just because he was confident, he knew exactly what he wanted and what he was going to get, and everybody kind of followed that. That's leadership. Now it's Joe's turn. This is his team.
Yeah, and this bowl in this opt-out era, it's kind of unique in that you do get somewhat of a preview into next year for some teams. Obviously, Tennessee's only got 2 opt-outs, so it's not. But you do see a couple positions, and then obviously with Hendon Hooker injury, you get the guy with the next reins, like you mentioned. So it's not just the practices. Like you get a whole what feels like preseason essentially. You're going through camp, and then you get an opening game. It's. I hope that we see a really good showing from Joe Milton. It would be a nice way to not only cap off this year, but also build into next year with, again, assuming this is Joe Milton's football team. And I think it's his to lose for sure.
Yeah, 100%. If he plays bad against Clemson, knock on wood that he doesn't, but if he does, a lot of people are going to be like, hey, let's look for somebody else and build on that, whether that's Taven Jackson or Nico. Taven Jackson is back at practice, so I think that's big, I guess, that, he does get to go through these bowl practices. He's been out for a long time with a collarbone injury, so.
Well, it's definitely big to get him back, and I mean, just to not – hopefully that means he can be available for the Orange Bowl because obviously Vanderbilt was a little nerve-wracking. Now you're talking 4th-string quarterback if Joe Milton did go down. So it would be nice to have him available for that. But I think, if you don't get a good showing after 15 practices to prepare, I think there's definitely the conversation of, is this a competition? And I don't necessarily mean that with Josh Heupel. I don't know what he's thinking. But like you said, within the fan base of maybe this should be a competition going into fall, where I think the consensus with the way fans have talked is that this is Joe Milton's team to lose. I think that's a consensus.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and apparently he's done everything the right way, and practice is perfect, but the games are what you're judged on. So I don't, he beat out Hendon Hooker in practice, but he just couldn't get it done in a game. And, that's why Hendon Hooker took over. And when he was able to be a gamer the way that he was, there was no looking back. I mean, he basically got his job because he showed out when Joe Milton was injured. Not because really Joe Milton lost the job per se, but Hendon Hooker just went in there and won it.
Yep, definitely.
So
definitely.
But yeah, Nico and the rest of those 15 early enrollees are practicing as well. I mean, I guess people just want to hear how good Nico's doing, and in practice right now, I'm sure he's not doing a whole lot within the offense, just trying to get his feet wet a little bit. the kid's good. Like, he throws the ball well, and he looks the part, and he's big, he's tall. We got to see him after our live show the other night at Fieldhouse Social. He was just watching some football, taking it in. So, which I think he is a San Francisco 49ers fan. I think that's why he was there. But yeah, so I don't really have a lot else to say about bowl practices.
Nah, I mean,
we haven't really seen a lot or heard a lot, but those guys are getting some work in, and I think this is big for Joe Milton and the rest of the wide receiver room. With Jalen Hyde and Cedric Tillman, taking the bulk of those reps in the offseason. And, I think this is huge for Brew McCoy to be that number one guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then behind him, it's Squirrel White, it's Walker Merrill, it's those, with, the Jimmy's gone now. Then it's those freshmen. It's Caleb Webb, it's Chaz Nimrod. Those guys can really get a feel for this offense and see what kind of role they can carve out next fall.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who kind of takes the. I don't know, because we saw Squirrel White in moments this year, more so than as a full player. So I'm curious to see, because it's assumed that's the guy that comes in for Hyatt right now, but who kind of takes over the physicality that Hyatt brought this year. I mean, you can credit a lot of Brew McCoy's yards to the way Hyatt blocked, or whoever in on that play block. He's a freshman. Can Squirrel White do it? I'm very interested.
Yeah. And we just got a question from Ron. It says, Ramel Keaton is playing, right? ? Yeah, Ramel Keaton's playing. He's a guy that I just didn't mention because he's just steady Eddie. He's going to be on the field. He'll probably be that, just like he was this offseason or the season when Cedric Tillman went down. He'll be that kind of play side wide receiver.
Yeah, and he's got his. You talked about carving out roles. He's already got his role. He stepped up in a big way in Cedric Tillman's absence.
Yeah, and it seems like he's only going to get better if he's able to improve the way he was this season. I can't wait to see kind of what he's like next year with another year under his belt, another off season, another year in the weight room, training, all that kind of stuff. So, looking forward to the wide receiver room. Tons of talent. There's some talent coming in. I asked the question on Twitter, besides Nico, who's the early enrollee you're really looking forward to seeing? And mine would have to be Nathan Laycock. Kid's physical, is a really big deep threat, and the way he's just kind of jumped up and climbed the rankings the last couple months has been insane. I just think Tennessee was able to really hit that one home and able to land him. And so when he did climb, he didn't kind of waver from it. And Tennessee got a really good player, and I'm excited for the future. And I'm just a biased wide receiver. So,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Do you have one?
I was trying to think going on that. I think my instinct tells me to go to the second ranked guy in this class, and that's Caleb Herring. But I just have a lot of questions it seems like, but to be fair, there are a lot of vacating parts in the defense, but they seem to not, for whatever reason, not play the younger guys on that defensive front.
Sure.
It just seemed, and I don't know, like Joshua Joseph looked so good at times. It didn't seem like he lacked any of the physicality or strength that you'd think in a freshman that would be missing, and just still didn't play. But I think that's where my instinct goes. And we talked about obviously some missing pieces leaving this year. So I guess Caleb Herring. But again, I don't know how much you see him in year one, if that's kind of part of the question.
Yeah, he's got to put on some weight to really, and I'm sure he will. But yeah, I guess that's his big knock is, he just got to get a little bigger to play that edge role in the SEC. But another one for me would be Jordan Matthews.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's one that you'll need to put some weight on too, but he's a lockdown corner. Just watching his highlight tape, and it is a highlight tape, so you have to take that into account. But, I did, kind of look up some one-on-one stuff at a camp, and, the dude's legit. he can run with anybody. He's a bigger corner and, has that kind of physicality to him where, he's not going to get bullied on the outside. So, and he has good ball skills. When you find a DB that has really good ball skills, you eat that up.
Right.
So I'm excited for Jordan Matthews. I think the staff is too. I know we're about to talk some recruiting news, but I think he was a guy that was a big get for the staff and somebody they're excited to get on campus. And with the way your corners kind of played this past season, any job's up for grabs.
Right. For sure.
And I guess that's a secondary in general, but yeah, any Jordan Matthews has a kind of path to earn some playing time this next fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk some recruiting news a little bit. So
yeah, let's get into it.
Nothing huge. You did have a decommitment. We'll get to that in a second, but you did have some official visitors. The 4-star JUCO offensive lineman Larry Johnson that committed last week was in town for his official visit. 3-star running back Khalifa Keith was in for his official visit as well. Texas offensive lineman Andre Carrick, and then Rhode Island offensive lineman Johnny Cornelius. Texas offensive lineman, don't know a whole lot about him. I think he's a redshirt sophomore. Didn't win the starting tackle spot this past fall at Texas. And I think was pretty much a reserve lineman and did some like heavy package stuff. So don't know a ton about him, but he was a 4-star coming out of high school. And then Rhode Island, he's one of the top transfers in this market. Has 22 starts under his belt at Rhode Island, and basically probably has an offer from pretty much anybody that needs a tackle, which everybody needs a tackle. So,
right.
And he was just a sophomore last season, so tons of experience already, and I think this is a huge need when it comes to Tennessee losing Darnell Wright. As versatile as he was, a guy that handled himself with Will Anderson and B.J. Ojolari and everybody that Georgia had on that defensive front.
Yeah.
He just made a money year, so replacing him is going to be huge, and maybe they can get in on Cornelius here and see if they can land him.
Yeah, definitely a big loss with Darnell Wright. Glad to see him in the bowl game. We talked about that on Thursday.
I do want to go back to that for a second. So, I just don't understand. And again, I'm not hating on people that opt out, like you do you. But the fact that Will Anderson and Bryce Young are playing in a bowl game,
yeah,
kind of like says like, hey, why are you not playing? Unless you have a pre-existing injury, I just think like you should probably play. If you're going to play in the playoff, you should play in a New Year's Six Bowl. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And I think, like you said, it's not like there's a zero tolerance for that or anything. There's definitely reasons that you do, but fully healthy, or as healthy as one would be at this point in the football season type deal. It's just one of those things. And I don't think I think everybody in the football locker room nowadays, thankfully, it doesn't cause issues, I would imagine. I think most kind of see the reasoning behind it, but the season's not over yet, like you said. Yeah, I'm not a fan of opt-outs. Again, I understand the reason for some of them, but I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah, I just think if the number one overall player in the country is going to play in a bowl game, you should too.
Yeah, that's going to come back to bite it. He's going to have an excruciating injury, I'm sure. But it could have happened any week, though.
Yeah, like those guys, like I'm going to play in the Senior Bowl, but I'm going to opt out of the bowl game. That doesn't make any sense.
Didn't one of the Bosas sit out the whole year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wasn't that a thing at Ohio State?
I don't remember that.
I thought one of them did. I can't remember.
Yeah, and then Will, the two like probably best and it's crazy to kind of go back and think about Tennessee beat probably the team with the number one offensive player and the number one defensive player in the country. But But those two guys are going to play in the bowl game.
You're talking about Will Levis and Will Anderson, the Wills?
Yeah, the Wills. Yeah. God, I can't. Is that something else we're going to just mention every show is how
Probably.
stupid it is that Will Levis is.
Well, Pro Football Focus is probably the only reason. They're
Yeah.
probably the ones pumping him up. So, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's really good on third down like JG.
He's still probably throwing more interceptions on third down now that I think about it.
Did you already change it?
Oh, no. Good mention. I wasn't even paying attention. All right, we made it 7 days. We made it a whole week.
He was a backup for the Broncos today. He didn't end up playing.
Yeah, get your mentions out of the way now, Landon, because we've already done it. So just go after it now. Just updated. 0 days. Big fat 0. Oh.
I'm sorry, I had to.
It's all right. I told Landon.
7 days is a long time.
It is a long time. I haven't even thought about him in 7 days. It's the best part. And then James had to ruin it going out and tweeting. What are you, proud of your son? Don't be. Sorry, that was – yeah, I said it. Oh.
But going back to some recruiting news, you did have a decommitment in 4-star safety of Sylvester Smith. Looks like he flipped his commitment to Auburn. He is from Alabama, so I guess the proximity to home is something, and I guess he grew up an Auburn fan. I just don't know how you watch those two programs and just be like, yep, Auburn's home.
Hugh Freeze, baby.
Well, then, like, how do you explain to your mom, like, when she's like, didn't he get fired at Ole Miss? Why did he get fired? How do you explain that to your mom?
I guess he could because Tennessee wasn't able to out-recruit him in this scenario, which I guess he hadn't committed to Auburn yet. But, yeah.
He did.
Oh, he did commit? Did he commit today? I missed that one. Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, it's not – I'm sure that there was always that thought if Auburn makes a good hire, that if he was an Auburn fan, that thought that could happen. So, which, I mean, credit to them in terms of football, they made a decent hire. Listen, guys, Hugh Freeze is still – he's still Hugh Freeze. Look, and I'm not saying beating Saban twice isn't good, but it's not that meaningful in the grand scheme of things.
Right. I mean, maybe it is to Auburn.
It is. Well, that's a good point. It is. I didn't even think about that. It is to Auburn. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Good point.
I don't know. Again, I just can't imagine as a, me sitting here today just thinking, like, looking at the two programs, be like, yep, I think Auburn. I like the direction Auburn's in right now.
At least he's not on Twitter anymore. Or I guess he's not physically on Twitter. That's a good.
Oh yeah, they took that away.
Mm-hmm.
What about the guy that's felt like he's known him for
a year and a half?
Yeah.
He probably feels like he's known him for like 2 or 3 years now. It's just building up every day. Still haven't met him. Maybe one day he'll get lucky. I'm sure he'll show up to church. Don't worry, he'll be in there. Every chance he gets to show face in a church, he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good guy. He went to my church. Okay.
I mean, I don't hate on the kid. Good luck.
Oh no, this is only hate on Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, but it is very like head scratch. And somebody was like, "Yeah, it's he's got a really good NIL deal there." Piss on that.
Tennessee. I saw some.
There's like 1,000 4-star safeties in the portal and everything like that. I mean, who's getting just a heck of a freaking NIL deal out of that?
I saw a comment from a Bama fan about Arian Carter in regards to Bama didn't offer him a good enough NIL deal. I was like, are we really going to sit here and pretend Alabama is on a budget? Is that something we're going to act like happened? Come on. Get out of here.
On a budget, baby.
Get out of here.
That's why they're in the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, I'm sorry. We only got 15 Dodge Chargers or Hellcats or whatever for this season, and we're giving yours to someone else. So
they have the number 4 and the number 5 like quarterbacks in the country committed to them.
These supply chain problems are getting to Alabama.
Yeah.
Just an absurd comment to come out of someone's mouth.
Yeah.
Or their fingers, I guess.
I guess Pete Golden should have had a better deal. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah, might have got him in the door, literally.
That'll always be one of my favorite. My
I'm so
love
glad
for
it's
Arian.
true.
Yeah, my love for Arian Carter is like through the roof. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see that dude just ball out.
Take notes, Toto.
I hope he wears number 11.
Be good.
I think
Is there a
he is.
defensive 11?
I don't know, honestly.
I thought he would. For some reason, he did have 11 on in his recruiting photos, like the ones they take on visits.
Latrell Bumpus was 11. He's gone.
Oh.
So there is an open. I don't know who it's going to be, whether it's Jalen Smith or somebody along that defensive line.
We're going to go off tangent. I was telling you how I have some roster downloaded for my Road to Glory on 14, and the roster is just absurd. Like nothing's right in it.
Mm-hmm.
Latrell Bumpus is my quarterback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he is number 14. He is white. He looks an awful lot like Whirly Bird, but that is my quarterback. Latrell Bumpus, number 14. Yeah.
So we should grant him another year of eligibility and have him play quarterback.
Only to play quarterback. That's
Okay.
the only position he can play. Yeah.
I like that. So who's your where would Hendon Hooker or Joe Milton, where are they at?
I think Joe Milton's on the wrong. I don't think Hendon Hooker. He's already. I'm in my third year. Hendon Hooker's gone. Jalen Hyatt is Pig Howard. This is 14.
Okay.
Or it started off in 14. Or 13, I guess, really, would be the first season. I don't remember. There were some weird ones. I'll have to look. I can't remember all the names, but I remember thinking they've got the names right. But
how was
positions
Latrell Bumpus there? This is his 6th year.
He
was a Butch Jones recruit.
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess they messed up the. Well, I mean, same question could be had for Jalen Hyatt because
you should have.
I'm in my senior year. So I guess they just messed up all the years when they did the roster. But
gotcha.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely a weird roster.
Cool.
Anything else for recruiting before we talk about some bowl season?
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, you're going to get some more kind of transfers, and I'm sure there'll be more high school names or, maybe even JUCO guys that, want to visit or something like that after this early signing period. But I think for the most part, Tennessee's, signing day on Wednesday is going to be very there's not going to be a lot of
surprises.
Yeah, surprises or
uneventful.
Yeah, it's going to be uneventful. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Just don't it's pretty much set in stone who's going to commit. I think that Sylvester Smith was kind of a surprise because I think just a week ago he told somebody in an article that he was for sure signing with Tennessee, and then he didn't. So other than that, I don't think there's going to be any kind of stories out there or things that pop up. I think it's pretty much set in stone. That's going to be Tennessee's recruiting class, and then we'll see who else is added later on. Deshaun Bishop, is that a guy who comes back in the picture? Do they kind of like what they have at running back? Where do they see Cam Seldon? Is he more of a running back? If he is, then do you even go down that road? Or if he's not, then do you add another running back in this class? So, and then some transfer portal. You'll probably have some receivers. Rara Thomas, I think, is going to visit later now. And then Dante Thornton, the Oregon transfer, will also visit in January. So you'll have more of those visits coming about. But I think it's going to be pretty quiet until the new after the new year.
Gotcha. Good deal. Yep. Good deal. Let's talk a little bowl season. And favorite game so far?
Yeah, Oregon State beating Florida.
All right, that's fair. I don't know if it wasn't for the ending in the North Texas Boise State game, which was somehow still on last night after the Tennessee game. It's Miami UAB in the Bahamas Bowl. I mean, what an ending! Miami almost wins it. It was so much fun. It was. I love bowl season because it is kind of quirky, and that was definitely a quirky game. It's way better than that UTSA Troy game. Troy got a safety because the center snapped it and the quarterback wasn't ready. It was awesome. So you can't forget those moments,
dude. I just how is Florida so bad?
Well, part of it is they don't have half. I mean, I'm shocked they had enough to play. They are getting hammered by the transfer portal.
Well, and it's like everybody
and the
keeps just
president
saying
portal.
like Billy Napier's going to be this, Billy Napier's going to be that. I'm just like, I don't see it. And as a Florida fan, like, I mean, if you can't really see anything in year one, that should be a sign.
Yeah, and I've been wrong. I thought Billy Napier was a pretty good hire. I mean, he did good at Louisiana Lafayette, but this does not seem to be very good.
Yeah, I know he's put together a decent recruiting class, but I mean, Florida should never recruit bad anyway. With
the talent in state,
where
and then
they're
it's
at.
also you've got to recruit your team, unfortunately, every season too. Plus portal, because the turnover rate. I mean, you could lose some key player guys, and more than just your seniors graduating, then that can really hurt your roster. You can't rely on freshmen. So, in that sense, it doesn't always matter the recruiting class you bring in.
And
I may leave next year.
If I'm giving advice, just watching the Jeremy Pruitt era, and we're 2 years into Josh Heupel's. Jeremy Pruitt couldn't wait to get his guys in here.
Yeah.
Where Josh Heupel was just like, hey, all these guys are mine.
We'll win with what we got.
Yeah.
And we did 10-2, baby.
Yeah.
11-2 by the time it ends.
Right. So yeah, I just if that's my advice, hey man, don't be so easy to give up on guys you didn't even recruit there, because Hendon Hooker wasn't recruited by Josh Heupel here.
Don't worry.
Jalen High wasn't.
Vols picks will remind you if you didn't know that.
But it's about the system and the culture, and to this point, Josh Heupel has done a phenomenal job. So
Absolutely.
And Billy Napier has not.
Which I love, by the way. And here's the thing too with Billy Napier, they will cut top. Florida is not scared to pull the trigger if they don't think you're getting it done. They will. Good riddance. I mean, McElwain played in
Auburn probably could have got a lot better hire if they would have got rid of Brian Harsin last year.
Probably. Dan Mullen, though, I mean, he got fired a year after playing an SEC championship game. Jim McElwain played in one. I think Muschamp played in one. I mean, they don't care.
Yep.
They don't care.
Got to get it done.
Anything else for bowl season you want to mention?
Who else do we have? Louisville, Cincinnati. That was the.
I only watched a little bit of that just because it was in Fenway. I love when they're on the same sideline. It cracks me up.
That was a Scott Satterfield Bowl.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah, yep.
Cool. Well, Louisville won that one, so props to Scott. He went to the wrong side.
I wonder if he was even there. Did he show up?
I don't know. I still don't know. I know they both shared a sideline, but the field looked like you could get another sideline on the other.
It would have been crowded, but at the same time, I would have just been like, I'll take this sideline to have my own. Yeah, right. I thought so too. I agree. I thought so too. Emily made fun of it when we were watching it, so that tells you.
It looked very Pee-wee-esque.
It's almost just why even play the bowl game there if you can't. I get it. It's a cool park. Cool. I'm sure a cool venue for a lot of guys. But it's almost not worth the
right.
You can't do it right.
That's kind of all I got for bowl season. I mean, there's more coming up. I think you got some on Friday. You got some on Thursday as well. I think Baylor and Air Force. That's an interesting game to me. But man, I want to bet on these games because it just gives me something a reason to watch it. But I don't bet on bad teams, and I don't if I don't know who's playing in the game, it's hard for me to just put faith in somebody.
Yeah, there's too many unsure type deals for me. I should go in. I need to on Tuesday. There's 2 games. I may just do a 2-team teaser with those.
Dude, but do you kind of like Alabama now that Bryce Young's playing against Kansas State -6.5?
Yeah, for sure.
I do too.
I assumed. I'm glad I didn't just take that before it was announced Bryce Young wasn't playing, because I wanted to, but obviously since he's playing now, yeah, no, I definitely like that. Agreed.
There's one more I like too. It was USC Tulane, USC minus 2.5.
Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think I like that. Yeah. Are they the?
That's the Cotton Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, we got to get through some sleeper bowls, but hey, it's football. It's college football.
Yeah.
Before we get to the good stuff here soon.
For sure. It's kind of all I got for bowl season. Do you have anything else?
No, nothing else. Hopefully more to talk about. Not really Thursday. It'll be a while before it gets too much fun. But here soon. We're coming up on it.
Yeah.
We're almost to the good parts of the bowl season.
Most important of the week.
Before we do get into segments, I want to give another shout out to Underdog Collectibles. Make sure you guys go check them out in University Commons, just almost right below the Publix. Great people over there. Yeah, right next to Domino's. Great people over there. Good time to always go over there, but now with Christmas season coming up, great Christmas gifts. I mentioned for the kids earlier in the episode, but really for anybody in your life. A lot of good stuff over there. So make sure you go check them out. And like I said, follow them on Twitter and Instagram because we will be doing some more shows from there, hopefully in the future, but they will have some more VFLs or current players signing autographs here soon. So make sure you keep up for that so you can go to Underdog Collectibles and meet some of these guys. You missed out, Christian Moore and Chase Dolander, if you didn't show up Thursday night.
Yeah, that's on you.
It's all on you, baby. All on you. Yeah, shout out to them. Most important of the week.
Most important of the week, I have Oregon tight end Cam McCormick was granted his 9th year of eligibility by the NCAA.
I love that.
He was in college when I was in college, if that tells you how old he is.
Yeah, so what year would he have graduated high school?
I think
2016, 15?
2015. Yep.
Yeah, I saw a good response. Someone said he should get an AARP NIL deal.
No, it was 2016. It was his freshman year because so he would have graduated 2016.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like the AARP NIL deal comment. That should definitely.
He's had like 5 season-ending injuries. I mean, props that he's able to even like do any physical activity after that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like maybe just better to not play sports anymore. But hey, if they give you your 9th year, stay in college forever. I don't blame you one bit.
Mm-hmm.
My first one is Captain Tony's Saloon in Key West. They have a chair. I guess they have famous people in there often. So they have chairs or seats, I guess, dedicated to those. That was Mike Leach's bar in Key West. And so they have his stool set aside for him. Love it. Awesome way to I mean, obviously he's famous, but you see that kind of stuff even with people who aren't. But yeah, no, I love it. Mike Leach.
Did he go there on a sailboat?
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. True pirate.
My next one is Frank Gore Jr. Ran for a bowl record, 329 yards and 3 touchdowns to help Southern Miss beat Rice 38-24. That's great, but also the interview after the game. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see the interview.
So they're like asking him about it, and apparently one of his family members is like runs up to him and starts like cheering. In middle of the interview, he just turns around and says, "Auntie, chill."
I did see that. I did not realize that was Southern Miss and Frank Gore Jr. I did see that.
Auntie, chill.
Auntie, chill.
That's the greatest line of all time.
I did see that. That was good.
Auntie, chill.
My fail of the week's on Butch Jones.
Does this fail?
Yeah, this is fail. Do you have any more most important?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
So I saw this video on TikTok. It was JJ Watt talking about, I don't know, his career maybe, or maybe just his journey to the NFL. Apparently, his first game at Central Michigan. After his first game, he told his parents that he didn't want to play here anymore. That he wanted to, which I mean,
Who said that?
J.J. Watt
Oh, okay.
played for a year with Butch Jones. Said he didn't want to play at Central Michigan. This isn't what he dreamed of when he said he wanted to play college football. So he left that and walked on to Wisconsin. So Butch Jones claims J.J. Watt as one of his coaching jobs. He didn't even make it a game with you before he said, "I'm getting the hell out of here." So he said, sorry, he didn't. He told his parents after the game, but he said he knew at the end of the first quarter. He didn't make it a quarter.
Well, if I'm Butch Jones, I'm claiming J.J. Watt because you can't claim Antonio Brown.
He already has. He claimed him before he went Kanye on us.
He claimed Antonio Brown?
Yeah, or did Kanye go Antonio Brown on us? I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
kind of
some interesting. Yeah, just maybe take Twitter away from both of
I
them.
think they're just cloned. Like
Maybe.
they just have like different like strengths. Like Antonio Brown's good at football. Kanye's like a good like artist.
Yeah, that might be it. Twin brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have one more most important. I'm so sorry. Forgot this one. Did you see the Buffalo Bills field goal team clearing the spot for the kicker?
I did.
I love it, baby. Kickers' lives matter. You saw that. The team rallied around him, cleared off a spot for him. Snowblow's illegal now, thanks to the Patriots. But they said, we don't care. We're going to clean this off. And he made it. That would have sucked if he missed it.
Yeah. Also, I'll say this is a fail on the officiating for that Bills game, but delaying the game for snowballs is awesome.
It is so good. And then to listen to them, whatever channel it was on, I don't know, the commentators be like, this is really dangerous. Those could have ice in them. Like, we're going to really sit here and talk about the dangers of a snowball fight. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then I love that they could charge them with a 15-yard penalty. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if I'm a Miami fan, I'm chucking snowballs right now.
Yeah. I just loved all the people that had like piles like in the stands. Like the game is delayed for it and they still have like piles like
ready.
You would think they would just like, hey, maybe just like push it under their seat or just like smush it where it's not. No, they're just piled up. I guess they had no clue because like it was funny. I was watching at a bar, so I couldn't like see the commentary. I'm like, why are they stopping? And then it like pulled up snowballs, and I was like, no way.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then the commentators were talking about the safety concerns of snowballs, and I'm thinking, I get it. The safety concern for me is that fans think they can throw stuff out of the stands. But when we're talking about snowballs, I'm not sitting here going, a guy could seriously get injured if he got hit with one of those. Shut up. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Dumbest thing of all time. And then they bring Mike Pereira in, the ref guy. I guess that's on ESPN. Well, they wouldn't be doing Saturday night. ABC, maybe. And he says, I don't really think you can penalize a team here just because you don't know who it's coming from. Sure enough, the ref comes over the intercom. You'll be penalized 15 yards. And then he just company shield till the day he dies. I appreciate it for him, from him. He's like, well, I see why they would do that. Try to get control of this. You can't do that. You can't penalize someone 15 yards.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing of all time.
What a week in the NFL, though. You had the Vikings come back 33-0 and beat the Colts. Man, poor Matt Ryan.
Yeah, but it's still not as bad. It's not a Super Bowl. It's not as bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
The moment matters.
That's true.
The moment matters.
But still.
You saw Falcons fans trying to dump it off on the Colts, and I'm sorry, it's just not the same.
Yeah, I mean, both are pretty terrible.
Both are awful, but one was in a Super Bowl.
Right? Yeah. Well, and this one sucks because it just brings that one up.
It almost makes it worse for Falcons fans because you got reminded of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
You're like, dang it, I thought we were past this.
Yeah. Exactly.
But then you had the walk-off pick in the Cowboys-Jaguars game. The Jaguars tied up with a late field goal. They like drive down the field in like a minute, kick a field goal to tie it, and then go to overtime. And then Dak throws a pick, and they take it in for 6. I think it bounced off the receiver and then landed in the DB's hands, and he takes it in for 6. And then then you had the walk off at the Raiders,
which is just
so this is a fail on the pass
thing of all time.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was egregious in how bad it was.
Yeah, just gave the game. And, man, poor Mac Jones just getting freaking obliterated by Chandler Jones on his way to the end zone.
Yeah, just for good measure.
Yeah. It was like you might have had a chance, and he just destroys you.
Yeah. It was bad. Also, you had, speaking of good in the NFL, you had some really bad. I guess we have been talking about some of the bad. I think you had a punt from the 31-yard line, a punt from the 36-yard line this week. So,
wow.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. They don't trust their kickers, man. I don't know what's happening.
Wow.
We also, speaking of good, we didn't talk about the World Cup other than a brief hit. Did you watch it?
I did watch toward the end when it was 2-1 when I started watching it.
Oh, so you literally started watching 30 seconds after the first goal because that's how fast France scored.
Yeah.
Insanity. And I mean, it just had everything you could want.
No, it was before that because Dylan told us to take that bet, and that's when I turned it on after I took that bet. The 2.5 goal, over 2.5 goals.
So you saw France score their first then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So France scores their first 30 seconds of gameplay later. Really, I guess. Yeah. I think it was a minute and a half total time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Messi's freaking goal to win it, surely, in extra time. Mbappe gets a penalty, which it's pretty crazy because, I mean, Mbappe's looked like it was on frame if it doesn't hit the hand. That handball sucks, but it's a handball. And then the penalty shootout, Emilio Martinez is just a freaking machine on the line. I mean, I don't know if there's a better goalkeeper in the world when it comes down to PKs than Emilio Martinez. And he almost saved 2 of Mbappe's. He got a hand to the one in extra time. But I mean, credit to Mbappe just burying them. Messi is – I'm trying to think. Messi's like a really good pitcher that can throw just like nasty stuff. Like his off speed's really good. His fastball – yeah, maybe. Like his fastball is really good, but he doesn't have to throw his fastball to beat you. Like he can just go off speed all day. It doesn't matter. Like he's just calm, composed. He's going to make you choose first kind of deal. And he doesn't, like he's going to finish it. It's insane. And it's really cool for this. A lot of people want to call it like the passing of the torch. Kylian Mbappe won a World Cup 4 years ago at 19 years old. He scored, I think.
So he already got his. I don't feel that bad for him anymore.
No, well, he's probably gonna win in 2026. Like France is a very young team. If they still look like they could win in 2026, type of good.
So he's only like 23 years old.
He's 23.
Dang.
Yeah,
he looks like 35.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a monster. So it's almost like I think that's what's cool. I said it to I might have tweeted it out. I don't remember. It would have sucked for our generation if Ronaldo or Messi hadn't have won a World Cup because it's both probably their last international competitions. I can't imagine. Messi, it is for Messi for sure. Can't imagine with the drama around Ronaldo that he ever plays for his international team again. The two greatest of our generation for sure. And then this is the greatest generation in soccer right now, like 100%. So it would have sucked if the two of the greats of that generation hadn't won. And it's like basketball. You can argue if he's better than Diego Maradona or some of the others. But the fact of the matter is they are the two greatest of our generation. So to send off like that, to beat Kylian Mbappe and France, who didn't look like they were going to lose.
Yeah, they're the favorite. Them and Brazil were the favorite. Is that right?
Yeah. And then too, like Argentina lost to open the World Cup 2-0 to Saudi Arabia, which is insane. That they go on to win it, and Messi.
So what you're saying is Saudi Arabia should have been
by transitive property. They won the World Cup. They're the last team to beat Argentina.
They seem like a country that would probably claim that.
No, they've probably already killed all their players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For not winning it?
Yes, correct. But yeah, that was the most fun World Cup game I've ever watched. They played in a semifinal in 18. It was a really, 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 really good game. Final in 18 was really good. There's been a lot of good U.S. matches in World Cup play. 10 Algeria, 14 Ghana. I mean, just some incredible one. That one was far and away the best. It had everything you could want. And PKs, if you're a player and maybe as like a fan of the team, PKs are a crappy way to end because you want it to end, but you can't run around a 120-meter field any longer than you did. I mean, you saw them all look dead.
Yeah, that was the thing. You didn't want it to end, but you're like, all right, at some point, like we have to.
I mean, they're exhausted. Yeah, they're exhausted. But PKs is an exciting way to end a game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's what's crazy about hockey too. Watching them go two periods extra, it's insane. They can skate around that long.
Oh, I bet their calves are like freaking.
I don't understand how they do it. It is. I do like that though. It's kind of like NFL. I think in the postseason, it shouldn't be. Even if you score a touchdown, I don't think it should be. Which I think they changed that rule in the postseason. Even if you score a touchdown, don't you get a chance to respond?
No,
I thought you did. Only in the postseason.
Maybe. I don't remember.
I think you do. I think that was a rule change after the coin flip touchdown in the AFC Championship game this year.
Okay.
Which I like. I think in postseason you should have to play a full quarter after and decide it.
Well, right now they're playing like 10 minutes, right? They're not even playing like a full quarter.
I can't remember all the NFL overtime rules.
Yeah.
I like that. I think you do have to end a regular season game fast in that sense.
At some point.
Yeah.
So it's like the
whatever.
MLB's going like 27 innings in like a random September game.
Even with putting a man on second? Are they still doing that?
I think so.
Okay. Whatever. But yeah, overtime rules suck in all sports at some point. But yeah, it's that was just such a fun game. I have nothing against France. I wanted Messi though. Messi, for anyone my age, like Messi is their hero in soccer. So I wanted Messi to win it. So which is weird that I'm now 27 and he just won his first World Cup. That's pretty crazy. Just speaks how old, like, to win a World Cup at that age is absolutely insane. To be the leader on the team and win it. So, yeah, freaking love it.
Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I gave you like 15 minutes to talk about soccer, so you're welcome.
That was not 15 minutes. I can go on.
No, it was close.
No,
12,
it wasn't. It was no, it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure it was close.
There's no way.
We can go find out.
We'll go back and look. Well, before we do that, because I know it wasn't 15, fire Greg Berhalter. He's a coward. He's a snitch. He sucks.
Yeah, sure. Fire everybody. I have no clue who that is, but yeah, fire him.
Greg Berhalter sucks. So Greg Berhalter is the manager for the U.S. Let me get you in on the drama real quick. He's a manager for the U.S. men's national team. He goes, after he returns from the World Cup, he goes and speaks at a leadership conference. And in the leadership conference, he talks about a bad situation he had to deal with at the World Cup, where he told a player he had a bad attitude, or he told the player he wasn't going to have a significant role in the team. Says the player had a bad attitude. The team resented him for him, created a lot of drama in camp. His effort was poor. The team is apparently, according to Greg Berhalter, voted on whether to send him home or not. And they obviously voted to keep him on. This player is Gio Reyna. His dad, Claudio Reyna, is one of the greatest U.S. men's national team's players of all time. Gio's a 19-year-old stud that plays in the Bundesliga for Dortmund. Dortmund even released a statement saying these have never been problems with us and Gio Reyna, so we're shocked to hear about it. Tim Ream, who's a center back for the U.S. men's national team, has a podcast. On his podcast, he says the team never voted to send him home. That's a lie. So Greg Berhalter, first off, just airing out locker room issues to a room full of people, says he thought it was off the record. I don't know how you think that's off the record. How are you possibly going to keep that off the record? Makes up a story, according to Tim Ream. Gio Reyna said that his attitude problems were wrong. He shouldn't have done it, but they didn't, those were apparently Greg tried to – I'm trying to remember exactly what Gio said about it. Anyways, that's the story. Greg's a liar. Fire him. We're done. Get him out of here.
Yeah, fire him. I have no clue what you just said.
This is the golden generation. This is like Butch Jones choking away the legacy class level of badness.
This is like falling on a helmet bad?
Oh, worse.
Whoa.
Butch Jones is an idiot. But he did lie to the media, like trying to skirt a lie. Greg Berhalter had no reason to make up that lie, and he did. It's worse.
Okay, I like it. We did have a comment about the so we tweeted it sucked to lose like that, or I kind of misdid that, but anyway, it sucked to lose like that last night. But this team is a dang good basketball team. And Randy Smith, great comment, says this team would have beaten either UK or UCLA last night. So
yeah, I agree.
I think that's good. We also had a question. I totally forgot to read it.
God dang it, Landon.
Well, he kind of answered it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. T. Barney says, when is JJ expected to be back? We kind of said that it just seems like it's going to be an issue all year long. Game to game, don't know when or how. Apparently, like, there's nothing, like, technically wrong with his knee. It just gives him discomfort.
Gotcha.
Or doesn't feel right. So
you probably don't see him against Austin Peay.
It seems more like a mental hurdle now. And so it's just like when he goes out there and warms up, how does it feel? And so it just seems like it's going to be a common thing throughout the entire season. So, yeah. Hopefully you're able to get him back, but as far as, timeline, there is not one.
Right. Probably after Christmas, though, if I had to guess right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's all I got.
That's it for me. Guys, it's been fun. We'll see you back on Thursday, probably a different time. And we're at the holidays, man. It's almost Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, have a good week. Hopefully it's a short week. I'll be off on Friday and Monday. So work 4, off 4. I think a lot of people will probably do that. But if not, have a good rest of your week. And go check out Underdog Collectibles, Ham and Goodies. Love those guys. And we'll see you back here sometime this week. We haven't decided exactly when. We got some Christmas parties, got some family coming in. So it might be a little different, but we'll keep you updated. Thanks again. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.